Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to My Chamber TV. I'm so excited today. We have a brand new chamber with us, the Greater Hernando County Chamber. And we have a special guest. And a special guest, right? We have Debi and Radar from Majestic Miniatures Equine Services.
Yes.
What is Majestic Miniatures?
We have 3 highly trained miniature horses that serve for education, therapy, and for entertainment. He's been here a while, so he's ready.
I am over this already. There's lights, there's cameras.
He goes into senior centers.
Okay.
And we do horse lessons with him. Hey, stop.
Well, we'll go ahead and let the handler take him, and that way we can just talk about.
He's good. He's been here since 8 this morning, so
he's ready to. I'm tired. Come on in there. Jerry's going to come get him.
Jerry's my husband. He helps me.
Hi, Jerry.
Yes.
So let's talk about Majestic and what all the services that you do offer.
Okay. We take the horses into senior centers, and the seniors get to pet them and brush them.
Okay.
We've made several visits locally, and the seniors love it.
Right.
That's the most rewarding of all.
Okay.
The other thing we do is we have horse lessons for children. If they're a little intimidated with the large horses, they can come out to the barn and they can learn horse behavior, horse grooming, the work that's involved, horse responsibilities. Yeah. And also just learn to lead, put a halter on, do all the things with a little horse before they go to the big horses for riding. And if they never go to the big horses, they can just come out and enjoy the horses safely, learn horse safety.
Okay.
Then the other aspect is entertainment. And we do birthday parties, grand openings, any sort of party that would be safe, nothing with explosives. We do gender reveals. We have a pink vest and pink halter come off the trailer.
Right.
Showing the gender.
Right.
They do that very well. And then that's mainly, it's education, entertainment, and therapy.
Now, do the small children get to ride?
No, we do not.
Okay, so no one gets to ride.
We have not trained them. They are really only supposed to hold the average 5-year-old's weight. I don't want to tell a child you're too heavy. So we don't do that. But they can brush them, they can bathe them. We do all that out at the barn.
You let them pick the stalls?
Oh yes, I've got a little rake. They can do that so that any parent that's worried their child just thinks the horses are for fun can also see the responsibility that goes with it too. And the lessons have been very successful. We've got a 3-lesson, a 5-lesson, and a 10-lesson package.
Oh, okay.
So we've had mainly the 3 and 5 lessons have been the most popular.
Okay. Now, do you do any special needs groups?
I will. We have not engaged with any of those yet. I do have a lady that is interested. She works with blind. They aren't fully blind, but very close. So I think this fall when it's cooler, she wants to book to have the horses come to her area where the blind students are. And we make home visits out to handicapped people. We've made several of those. I don't take the horse inside their house, but I do go to the driveway or to a back outdoor patio. So we can deliver a gift or just go and let them pet and brush and so forth.
They seem so laid back.
Other
than when we make them, it's amazing.
He's never been under the lights and the camera before, but he handled it well.
They say never work on camera with children or animals because they will always upstage you. That's just the way it is.
He's very, all of them are very mellow. They just finished going to the Y down here off of Mariner here in Hernando County. They just went yesterday and Monday.
Wow.
For an hour for the summer camp.
Okay.
And so they were around small children. I did a birthday party that had 15 children that were 3 turning 4. We did that indoors at the Spring Oaks Community Center.
Okay.
It went beautifully. They had great pictures, and Radar's the one I took. He did very well.
He's beautiful. Now, what type of horse is he?
He is American Miniature Horse Association. He's a miniature horse, which means his shoulder height is 31 inches.
Okay.
But they have to be under 36 for the National Registry, I believe it is, and under 33 for the other miniature horse registry. There's two of them, and he's eligible to be double registered because he's short.
Beautiful, beautiful.
He
Absolutely
is,
beautiful.
all three of mine, I'm very, very proud of them. I got them when they were 4 months old.
Wow.
So they hadn't even had a halter on at that point, except to force it on them to get them in the trailer to bring them home.
Right.
But I've worked hard with them. The fact that COVID hit kept us out of getting into the facilities we'd like to.
Right.
But we were so fortunate that we partnered with a school district of at-risk. They had a school for at-risk high school students. And I took the horses down to their school every Thursday afternoon. And as an incentive for attendance and getting your homework done, the students that had met that requirement got to work with the horses and lead them around in the school, took them up and down the elevator at the school. So the horses got a lot of good experience, even though COVID was going on. We were just all masked up and and did it. So
did that affect the horses not being able to see the face fully?
No, they don't. They didn't. I know it can some horses, but mine, since I've had them since 4 months old, and I've worked with them. I owned my own barn up in Missouri, so I was down there working with them a lot. It's all based on trust. You know, the trust that I'm not going to lead them into danger. If they're scared, they can rely on me. So that's what it's based on.
Okay.
So.
Now, how far around this area do you go out?
We'll go up into Citrus County, Hernando County. We'll go down to the northern end of Tampa. We can go a lot of places, but you know, in terms of the amount of whether it's hot, the heat, the amount of time we're going to be at the event, along with the travel time, can add up to quite a bit of stress in this heat.
Right.
So it depends on the event and the time of year, but we will venture out of Hernando County. Yes.
So you'll go to Pasco if someone calls you and asks you. Okay, that's because a lot of our people are the Tampa Bay proper,
right.
which is really
we'll
nice.
Go there.
Okay, that's awesome.
And for like a senior center, I'm only usually in there about an hour, so that's not a big problem.
It's overstimulation for both. Right?
Yes, horse does very, very well.
Right.
I mean, he's been here since probably 7:30 or 8. So
God bless him. I love horses. Absolutely love. So, how far out are you right now for events? So if I wanted to book you, if I wanted to call you and say, hey, I want you to come to an event.
We could do some bookings. We can do some bookings in September.
Okay. So
easily. August we have, it's not solid book, but I don't take 5 days a week bookings either. I have to let the horses have some rest time.
Decompression.
So, yes,
it's a good thing.
Yes. We're looking into partnering with a local yoga studio, and we're hoping that will materialize. We're having some meetings on that soon, so they can do chair yoga and the horses can be
As I'll say, they don't want to do the yoga with their on the back. I've seen that. I'm like, I don't know if I want a miniature horse on my back or not. But sitting there next to me, I'm good with that.
Come up and pet them and put that as part of the yoga. They are doing that in Illinois, where we got the idea, and it was very successful. So we're looking at that here. We'll do it inside a yoga
Where
studio.
are you located?
We have the horses in Brooksville, right off of Cortez on Star Road.
Oh, okay.
So it's not very far from here. I don't own my own barn now, so I have a paddock that I lease for the horses.
Okay, very good. So if I'm interested in getting a hold of you, what's the best way? Is that website, phone number?
All of it will work, but the phone number's probably the best.
Okay.
You know, the website, it could have a glitch or something. A lot of people have gotten a hold of me through the website.
Okay.
As far as I know, it's worked 100% of the time,
right.
You don't know if it doesn't.
True.
So the phone would probably, would be the best. Or my Facebook page and Facebook
I was going to say, do you have social media? What's your social media? Is it
Majestic Miniatures Equine Services LLC?
Okay.
Yes, and we post a lot of pictures on there when we go to events. Unfortunately, some of them we can't if they have children.
Right.
Like we just went to the Y for 2 days. I have no pictures on there for that because, I don't want to post people's children. One of the senior centers, I didn't post very many pictures because I wasn't sure on.
So is there a roundabout cost that we can talk about? I know everything is probably different depending on what the event is, but is there a standard kind of a rate where you work off of?
I usually, if I'm going to some event that's an hour to an hour and a half, it takes me an hour or so to get the horses ready.
Right.
And then the travel, even more than an hour if I'm bathing, which I usually do. So I charge around $300
Nice.
for a visit.
That's great.
That birthday party was
Heck
$300.
yeah, I would pay $300. I'm not sure
about-
if my kids would be like, I got you a pony.
Yes,
They want
it
to
was-
keep it. That would be the problem.
It was about 4.5 hours of my time
Yeah.
and the horse.
Yeah.
And we are investigating the possibility of doing a not-for-profit on the therapy aspect for the senior centers. That seems to be a difficult one. The activities budgets, sometimes I'm told by most of the
Kind of small.
of those are small, and they have to find an innovative way with marketing or something else
Right.
to get us in there. But if they just, when we get in there, the reward for those people.
The smiles are huge.
Oh, it is. And I've had people tell me they owned a horse. One gal was just hardly talking till she came up and had the softest touch. And I asked her if she had a horse. She looked up at me. She said, "Yeah, I barrel raced."
Oh my.
That melted my heart because I never barrel
Right.
race.
Well, Miss Debbie, thank you for being on the
Thank
show
you
today.
so
We
much.
appreciate it. Stick around. I've got more great guests coming from the Hernando County Chamber of Commerce. We'll be right back after these messages. All right, welcome back. That was awesome. That was a great little horse, right? It was a great little horse, and I love seeing that. That is such a great little thing. So we have Brian Brijbag back with the Brijbag Law.
Yeah, thank you.
I just had to ask this question.
Sure, yeah.
What makes a person want to be a lawyer?
Oh my goodness. So I wish I had that story where I was like, okay, when I was a little kid, right, growing up, I wanted to be an attorney, but that would be a total lie.
Okay.
So this is really what it is. So I'm a father. I have 5 kids. One of my daughters is autistic, special needs. And as every parent does, you start to get to a point where you ask your question, like, what is my child going to do when they grow up? What are they going to be when they grow up? And
Right.
you start to look for opportunities. And so looking at Rachel, my daughter, I said, it's not the normal thing, I don't know if she's going to go to 4-year college or how that's going to work. So I said, what can I create for her that she could have a safe place and she can learn a skill? Right. So I was like, I'm going to be an attorney. I already had about 9 degrees, and I had a business in healthcare. I'd been in healthcare about 20 years. And so I went to law school, got a free ride, passed the bar the first time, opened up right away, and that's my motivation to have a place for my daughter to work and to learn. And she's 17 now, and she comes, like during the summer she hates it, but she comes in and she works with me, and she learns, and she files things and does whatnot. And
Right.
that's hopefully she'll find a passion to be called to it. Yeah.
So you just said something that here's the thing. If you're looking for an attorney and if you heard what he said, he passed the bar the first time.
Yeah,
That's kind of a good attorney. I'm just saying that's a guy that you want to be in your corner.
Yeah.
So let's talk about what your law firm does.
Yeah, of course. So our law firm is located in Pasco, Hernando, and Citrus County. We have 3 offices.
Okay.
Primarily, we do personal injury, and I do some health law. And the health side, which is about 20% of the practice, I work with a large medical device company, do their U.S. Legal and compliance work, and other issues with insurance and whatnot especially with doctors and whatnot. But personal injury is about 80% of our practice. So personal injury is like car accidents, or you slip and you fall in a business maybe, or maybe a product that doesn't work right. That kind of medical malpractice maybe fall into that. It seems like the majority of things are the car accidents, truck accidents, boat accidents. Whatever, you're riding a unicorn and you get in an accident, that kind of thing. Or you're at Disney World or on a cruise and you have an accident. So we handle all those kind of things. So that's primarily kind of our bread and butter.
Okay. All right. Well, so give me some advice if you can.
Okay, yeah.
All right. So I get in an accident. What do I got to do?
All right. So there's a couple of things that I tell folks. One of the things is obviously get to safety. If you're in an accident, if you get the vehicle is able to be moved to the side or parked, that's a key. Get out of the way of traffic. what you don't want to do is you don't want to apologize for things. You want to take blame. You want to, just assess situation. You do want to take pictures. Take pictures of the accident. Because everybody has a phone with a camera, right? So there's no excuse. Take pictures. But primarily, really, the first thing is safety. I mean, make sure that you're okay, the other person's okay. Get 911 on the line. Make sure that anybody's go with an ambulance, injuries are taken care of, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, from a case standpoint, once that's been taken care of, you're able to, and you have the consciousness to do it. Again, document, take pictures, make sure that you get information from the other driver. Take pictures of anything that might be important, like was there a stop sign missed? Maybe get a picture of that. Are there skid marks? Things that maybe later on, as you go 2 or 3 days later, you're not gonna be able to recreate.
Right,
so
right.
that kind of stuff. And a lot of folks, that's one of the things that they miss. And then here in Florida, I think it's important to know that you have 14 days to get to a medical provider after an accident,
right.
To get your benefits, what they call the personal injury benefits you have in your insurance. So, as quick as you can, get to a medical provider. If it's an emergency, definitely go to the ER. But if it's not, get to, chiropractor, orthopedic doctor, your family doctor, just somebody to check you out.
Okay. Now, I love Michael. He gives me, this is probably one of the best bios on all my people that I've had. He says, you are also admitted to the Federal Middle District Court of Florida.
Oh yeah, sure. So that's for federal court. It's a whole different thing. So, if you're just in a little car accident here, we go to county court, you do all that kind of stuff. But let's say you got hit by the U.S. Postal Service truck, right? That's a whole different thing. There's all these forms required, a procedure, and that goes to federal court. So it's a different process.
I did not know that.
Yeah, so you have to be, admitted to the federal courts to be able to handle things there as well. Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, so that's just a little piece.
Okay, so I did not realize that if I got hit by something like the
Federal government
truck, that it would be a different court altogether.
Yeah, and not just that, the whole process ahead of time is different. So the paperwork that they require, and they have a lot of flexibility in time. Well, the frustrating part is that the federal government sets their own rules, so some of that stuff.
Got it.
And they're definitely favorable to them. So somebody who understands how to maneuver the federal system to get the compensation, get your car repaired, take care of injuries and that sort of thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so now I learned something today. I always try to learn something every day. Well, I just learned something today.
We accomplished that. So I'll check that off my list. I've taught something today.
So I'm going to give him a little secret. He's a nerd.
I am a nerd, yeah. So our office, and the great thing is all 5 of my kids are nerds. My wife, not so much. But the 5 kids that I've done a job of raising nerds, and we do things. It's funny. When I interview people, I will ask them questions like Star Wars, Star Trek. Right, I asked them that, and they're like, "What?" They get thrown off, and I said, "Well, this is going to tell me a lot about you."
Star Trek.
Yeah, well, there you go. See, people say, that kind of stuff. But yeah, we in the office we talk about the Marvel movies and Disney TV shows like the Star Wars stuff, and all that. So, and we go to Comic-Cons. I mean, so we're nerds.
Just left one. That was awesome.
Oh yeah.
So let's talk about more about with the law firm.
Sure.
So if I'm out there and I need an attorney, how do I get a hold of you?
Yeah,
what do I
please.
do?
So obviously we have a pretty, I think, aggressive web presence. Our website is brijbaglaw.com.
Okay.
So if you could spell my last name real easy, but let's say you can't. You can go to hernandojustice.com. You can go to pascojustice.com or citrusjustice.com, and they all get to the same place.
Okay.
Or you can dial 352-358-5880. Make it easier, 352-888-HELP. We'll get you there as well. So we have a couple different avenues, but people will message me on Facebook or just any Instagram. We get messages for a lot because we're pretty accessible, especially in social media. One of our biggest avenues is YouTube, believe it or not. Wow. So we get a lot of people who say, "I saw you on YouTube," and so a lot of folks contact us through YouTube. Yeah.
Wow. Mm-hmm. Now, do you visit each office, or are you primarily out of the Hernando County office?
Yeah, I will be at every office, so whether that's a good thing or bad thing for folks, you're going to deal with me, right?
Okay.
I'm the guy whose name's on the sign, so I try to be the guy that you're going to see and talk to.
Right.
I have staff and whatnot. I have excellent staff, amazing staff, and so I trust them wholeheartedly. But people want to talk to an attorney, and that's what I do. So I will travel to the offices and meet with folks. A lot of things these days are virtual, so we'll do a lot of virtual stuff. A lot of folks, that's what they want.
Right.
They're asking for it, and that's fine. We can do that. I will take virtual stuff. I'll park my car to the side and we'll do something on an iPad if I need. We'll make things happen. So
okay, so I'm out there, I'm watching this, I just got in an accident. I'm like, okay, so what, if I call you, what am I going to expect?
Yeah, well, we do a pretty in-depth intake. I wrote a book called, The 7 Deadly Sins of Your Florida Personal Injury Case, which we give away free. If you go to the website, you can get our free book. And it's a book that talks about what to do with a car accident, what happens afterwards. The same question you're asking, I actually wrote the book on it. So I have to say, I'm the guy who wrote the book.
I wrote the book.
But what we do is we talk about a couple of things. We talk about the laws, right? What you need to know laws. We talk about just your health. We talk about your car, which is a big thing. I could have someone could come to me and their arm could be hanging off. And they're like, how about my car? How's my car? And I'm like, but you're injured. Yeah, but how's my car?
Yeah.
Right? What you don't know, another thing might be, a lot of attorneys, it's called personal injury. They don't deal with the cars, or they don't really help with the car. They set you off your own on the property damage side, deal with that.
Yeah.
Because we don't make money on that. So you make money on the personal injury side. But what we do is we actually intentionally, because I'm a car guy as well. I used to work in body shops when I was younger. So I know that side of it. I used to race stock cars and all that kind of cool stuff. So so we like dealing with the cars too and helping folks get back going, because they can't get to doctors, they don't have a ride. They can't get to work. So we try to accelerate that process for them too. So dealing with the car, dealing with their injuries, helping them put together a plan to get to the right medical care. And that's the kind of things that we'll do for them.
Wow. That is one of the biggest problems I've ever heard anybody say, that just dealing with their personal injury. Like, yeah, but it took me forever to get my car done because no one was helping me on that side. Yeah. And that side sometimes becomes a bigger problem than the injury side.
That's 100%. We find that all the time, that it's really a big issue. Again, because people need their car. They got to get kids to school. They got to get to work and like that. So we have to find ways to help them. And sometimes when we come alongside, the insurance company move a little quicker because now the attorney's involved. Because we could do things also on the backside called diminished value, loss of use, additional lawsuits on the property side of things to help folks out.
Brian?
Yeah.
Man, thank you for coming on, fellow nerd. I love this. It was great.
Thank you.
It was really absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah,
I tell you, if you got an accident, there you go. There's your man right there. Give him a call. Got coming up next is Dana from the Cutlip, the Insurance Financial. And stick around. I tell you, Mike's done a great job.
Yeah.
Man, he's lined you guys up, and it's actually been phenomenal. We'll be right back after these messages. Welcome back, everybody. Thanks for sticking around. We have Dana Cutlip here from Cutlip Financial Insurance Services. Now, I'm reading the bio. I love the bios that we get from Michael. It's really good. We shop the market so you don't have to. Just some of the service we provide: individual health care, group insurance, dental insurance, disability, long-term insurance, supplemental insurance, and more. So this says call Dana. So
that's right.
Let's talk about what you actually do.
Well, actually, the business was started 20 years ago. My wife and I, she has since passed, but she did primarily life insurance, annuities, securities. I did health insurance, so it was kind of like a mix the two together, and we started Cutlip Financial Insurance Services. Nice. That's why I still keep the name. Primarily now, what I focus on is health insurance for individuals under the Affordable Care Act. And I do Medicare for seniors over the age of 65, or those who qualify for Medicare if they're under 65.
Right.
And then group insurance for businesses that have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 or more employees. And I've been in the insurance business. I'm gonna age myself now, but I've been in the insurance business for 40 years next year.
Good for you.
And I've been in Hernando County for 20 years.
Wow.
Well, actually 21, but 20 years in business and 20 years with the Chamber of Commerce. So, wow. But I do all the health insurance. I like I said, dealing with the marketplace, all the challenges involved with that.
Right. I was going to say the health insurance world has really become interesting.
It has. It has. Like I said, I've been involved since the mid '80s. It was so much simpler back then.
Right.
But when Obamacare was first written into law, which was 2010, and it really didn't go into full effect until 2014, a lot of health insurance agents got out of the business because they just, they weren't going to deal with the legal mumbo jumbo that we have to go through. But that's all I know. So I stayed with it and have been doing it since then. And it can be a challenge.
Right.
I always tell people, do not enroll through the internet. Do
Right.
not enroll with a phone call. Work with a specialist who has to certify every year. I go through the certification for the Affordable Care Act
Right.
and Medicare. Work with somebody who has been certified and has been doing this for more than 2 years.
Because insurance is not one size fits all.
No, it isn't. It isn't.
And
Definitely
it really is individual, and so you need to sit down with somebody that goes, okay, let me look at what you need and truly find it. That's what you do, right?
That's what I do, and sometimes we look at, okay, is it better to go through the marketplace and get a subsidy, or is it better just to enroll directly? And it depends on circumstances too, because a lot of times I deal now with individuals who have retired from their job, but they're not quite ready for Medicare. So we put them in a plan that will go for, most of them are retiring like at 62, 63, so they needed something that's going to cover them
Until
for at least 2 to 3 years, and then put them on a Medicare plan. So you have to look at most of those individuals. We look at what their income level is and probably put them on a plan with a subsidy, because unfortunately, the way the insurance works now, the younger you are, the more affordable it is. The older you are,
the more expensive.
it's more expensive. So older individuals, before they qualify for Medicare, I look at what a subsidy could help them with, which lowers the cost of the insurance.
You have couples now that are either the male is older or the female is older and the spouse is much younger. So the older one's like, well, I don't want to retire because if I retire, you don't have insurance. So that's a unique situation, right?
Yes, and that does happen a lot, and I get couples like that. In fact, I had a few here recently that was the case. So what I do is I always make the younger one the primary on the plan.
Oh.
And that way, when the older, like let's say there's a 20-year age difference or 10 or whatever it may be, and that individual turns 65 and go on Medicare, they will come off the plan, but the other one stays on, the younger spouse will stay on the plan. So it's not like you have to go through hoops to insure that other individual.
Right.
So that's what I always make sure that happens, is that the youngest one is always the primary and the oldest one is the dependent. So when they come off, it's a seamless transition.
Right.
For that individual that's still on the plan.
Younger one's not having to go and re-get,
Exactly.
because now he's older and
that's happened, but basically in that situation, they would come off the plan obviously because they're 65, and then you would have to re-enroll the younger one.
Right.
But they would qualify for a special enrollment period, because there are those special enrollment periods throughout the course of the year where they would qualify for an individual plan, and that is loss of coverage is one of those special enrollments.
Right.
It can be done, but it's easier to put the younger one on as the primary and the older one as the dependent.
So did the world of COVID change the insurance world?
Oh yeah, it did. Other than the fact that we were, inbound for so many months, insurance was still an essential industry.
Right.
So I was busy during that time period. And what COVID did is basically most of the insurance companies, the testing, any shots related to COVID, things like that, they were all basically free.
Right.
They didn't charge any copays for any of that. And so they encouraged people to go get tested. And when the vaccines came out, there was those that, no, don't take the vaccine. There was those that, yes, take the vaccine. But all of that was pretty much, insurance companies covered it. Now, post-COVID, somebody has to pay the piper.
Right.
Okay, so there were price increases primarily because of COVID, and COVID is still an ongoing thing.
Right.
What will happen this year is anybody's guess. We won't know until probably September, October, actually November timeframe, what the new pricing is going to be for 2023, but it did have a significant impact on the healthcare industry. Hospitalizations, basically, the insurance companies paid out a lot of money and tried not to put that back on the backs of the members of their plans.
Right.
Impacted Medicare significantly because of the increase in the Part B premium, went up 26%, which has been the highest increase.
Wow.
In
That's a big jump.
many years. A lot of reasons for that. I won't go into details on that, but there are a lot of reasons. But I did hear that it's a possibility that Part B premium may come down for 2023.
Right.
Again, it's all speculation. It's all conjecture. We won't know until October when Medicare annual election period starts.
Right. Now I know there's been some grumblings in Washington about changing some of the prescription and all that stuff. And we were talking beforehand. You said there are drugs that are going up.
Yeah,
medications.
That is. Well, give you an example. Part of the COVID Part B premium increase was that the FDA approved a drug for Alzheimer's.
Oh, okay.
Which is, yes, that's a deadly disease. This drug cost upwards of $56,000
Oh my.
for 1 year, and so that was part of that increase. But they've negotiated it down to about 28. I mean, this is all knowledge. I mean, you can go onto the website, Medicare, and they'll explain it to you. So it's nothing that's secret.
No,
so
right.
if somebody wanted to find out about this drug, I can't even pronounce it, but anyway. So the carrier reduced it down to 28,000 and change. And my thought process has always been, why did you set it at 56,000?
In the beginning.
Why not make it 28,000? Prescription drugs, in my opinion, and like I said, I've been in this business for almost 40 years, have always been the driving factor behind healthcare costs.
Right.
And of course, the cost of inflation. Obviously, this year inflation is at all-time high. So you go in the hospital, you're going to pay higher for a procedure this year than you would have last year or 2 years ago. It's all economics. But if we just find some way to control prescription drug costs, I think we could control healthcare costs. That's my opinion. I
like that. No, I like that. So what's the best way that people get a hold of you?
They can call me. My cell phone is with me 24 hours a day. I even have my office number tied into my cell phone. So if anybody calls me on my office number, it comes to my cell phone. They can reach me at area code 352-293-4317. I had to think of my own number. And like I said, if I don't answer it right away, it usually means I'm in a meeting or I'm talking to somebody else. Just leave a message and I'll get back to you within 24 hours.
Danny, thank you for coming
Thank
on,
you.
brother. I appreciate
Appreciate it
it,
very
man.
much.
That's some good information right there. There's his website. Hey, look, if you're up here and you need some insurance, that's the man right there to give you a call again.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
He'll take good care of you. Stick around. We got Natalie coming up right after these messages, and we're going to talk about the Main Street in Brooksville. We'll be right back. Hey, welcome back, everybody. I tell you, Michael did a great job.
Oh, good.
And he has lined up some awesome guests. We are here with Natalie Taylor.
There you go.
I want to say it the wrong way just so we can say you're New York. You are with the Brooksville Main Street, and Brooksville is awesome. I mean, if people don't know about it, they need to know about it because it's got so much to offer. So let's talk about Brooksville Main Street.
Yeah, when I moved here 21 years ago, we were driving with the kids through town, and we got through this little place, and all of a sudden we're going up a hill, and we're in this old place that's historic looking with hills and whatever. And I was like, how did I leave Florida already? Because you don't feel like you're in Florida. It's this like old South town right in the middle of everywhere, and you've got these hills everywhere. So they always used to refer to it as City on a Hill. I'm trying to bring that back. But it was established in the 1840s, and people have been living and loving there ever since. And my job is to make sure people keep living and loving it.
And there really is a ton of stuff to do, because I'll tell people I'm going to go to Brooksville this weekend, and they're like, why? I'm like, you have no idea how much stuff is in Brooksville. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, so we have a bunch of retail and restaurants, right in the area, within walking distance. Everybody wants to be walking these days. That's one of the benefits of COVID. We realized we needed to walk more, right? But also, we actually have 2 event spaces downtown too. So Florida Cracker has their event venue right behind their place, and they bring in thousands of people for their concerts. And then Whitehead Farms is right outside town, and they do that too. So it's really interesting how things have changed just even in the last 5 or 6 years. But there is always something going on.
And restaurants galore.
Yep.
If you've not been to the Florida Cracker, oh my gosh, that's one of the best breakfasts I think anybody will ever have.
Right.
It really is good. And then you've got the famous Coney Island hot dog, where Elvis came to eat.
When my kids come back to town, they always have to go to Coney Island. They don't have hot dogs apparently anywhere else in the world other than in Brooksville.
Not
it's
like
a special
these.
thing. Yeah, and the milkshakes.
Coney Island is the only place I can get a slaw dog. And I'm an old school Southern boy that loves this sweet coleslaw. But you've also have the May Stringer House,
right?
And you have the church, or I think it's a chapel, right? That you can get married into in the home, right? Is that correct?
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Oh yeah, there's
at the museum.
Yeah,
you can definitely get married at the museum.
And then you have the train station down there.
And the old schoolhouse.
And the old schoolhouse, and then if you're an RVer, you got a couple of really nice RV parks.
Absolutely. No, and they're always full, so you got to get in on those. But yeah, Bell Park is amazing, and there's a lot of really good things down there. And then, when you come downtown, you've got your courthouse, the historic courthouse right in the middle of the place.
That's a beautiful courthouse.
Such a great photo space. And we've got picnic tables that we had artists paint that we've got seated there, so you can go and grab your lunch from the bistro or from Enchiladas or Main Street Eatery.
Enchiladas, that's another one that is so good.
Best chili rellenos.
Absolutely. Yes. So what you have a lot of events downtown as well, don't you? Let's talk about some of those.
Yeah, we do most of the events that happen in the city. So part of what we do is, we try to get the businesses there and try to make sure we have a good diversity of businesses, but then we also want to make fun things for people to come to. And so we get to do both of those things. And we did the Blueberry Festival this last year.
Love the Blueberry Festival.
40,000 people in our little downtown space, which was pretty amazing and exhausting.
Exhausting.
But really great for all of the businesses down there, and a great regional event. And then we also do the Christmas tree lighting. A lot of people don't know that. I read an article where people were fussing about how the county commission was spending all their money on decorating downtown Brooksville, and they weren't doing it anywhere else. And I was like, the county doesn't do any of that. We do it all. I own all the Christmas trees and the wreaths and all that, and we stick them all up and take them down. And then we have a tree lighting ceremony that last year had 10,000 people.
10,000 people.
In a city that only has 9,000 people.
Right, exactly. And all downtown.
Right.
Around the courthouse. It's that is, absolutely.
Yeah. And then those are specific events we do. We've got Founders Week as well, which is super fun. And we do the Great Brooksville Games, which is all agricultural based. And then we do some permanent things too, called we have the Florida Mermaid Trail, where you go and you find little bronze mermaids around downtown as a scavenger hunt. And then we have another walking tour called Torbeville, and when you hit a QR code on the building, it'll show you all the pictures of that building like throughout time and tell you who's been there and interesting things that have happened there. And you can just do that whenever you want to.
Now, see, I did not know about
Well,
3 of
see,
those things. So
there
there
it
you go.
is. There it
That
is.
is absolutely fun.
And Torbeville, we're still working on it. It takes a long time, as you can imagine, to compile all of that. So
Yes.
the cool thing is, because it's QR codes, we can just, as soon as we're done with one, we go stick the plaque on the building and then move on to the next one. So we'll eventually have about 220 buildings on that tour.
Wow, how many do you have now?
It's 42.
Still, that is a lot.
It is a lot.
I mean, is that walkable?
Yeah. No, it's definitely that whole downtown corridor. So most of the buildings on Main Street at this point we've gotten, and then we're branching out and just going further and further as we go. And we don't put them up until we have at least 3 good pictures of the
Right.
building throughout time.
That is absolutely phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just 42. That would take me all day.
It's been about a year.
Oof, that's a lot. So what else is going on in good old Brooksville?
Well, it's interesting because we are at the point now where pretty much all the buildings are full, and so we only have a couple spaces left that we're trying to get people into. The energy has definitely been created, and so now we just want to get people in the habit of thinking when they want to do something like that they don't have to leave town, and I do think that we're getting there.
A staycation.
Right, absolutely.
I love those commercials. We're going to do intrastate stay,
go.
right? So do you have because I don't drink that much, but are there tap houses? Are there wineries? Is that something that Brooksville is getting into as well?
So the bistro has a full bar
Okay.
downtown, and then Mountaineer Coffee actually does wine nights on the weekends. So
nice.
Fridays and Saturday nights you can get wine and beer, craft beer in there. And then we actually have 2 breweries that are in the process of opening. One is across from the courthouse, and it's called Broad Street Brewing, and those are people that helped start another brewery in town, Marker 48.
Okay.
And so they're now branching over to Brooksville. We're really excited. And then the other one is going in Weeks Hardware, which was until a few months ago the oldest operating business in the county. It had been a hardware store for like 117 years.
Wow.
So it stayed in the family, but they're converting it from a hardware store to a brewery, which would be pretty cool.
They should have both.
Yeah.
Go in and get some hardware, have a couple taps. It's all good. Go home, don't get nothing done.
Right. So by the end of this year, we should have them both open.
Now, how can people find out about what's going on?
Just come to our website. It's welovebvl.org, and it's super easy to navigate, and you can find all the information about the events and businesses and what's going on.
So now, say I'm a business and I'm not do I have to be a part of the Main Street?
No, we automatically cover a certain area. The city came up with a boundary in the state that we serve, and so we do that little area, and anybody can call us and say, hey, can you help promote this event that we're doing or this sale that we're having? And we do that for free of charge to the businesses.
If you have events, can I, as a business, be a part of that?
You can. If you have a downtown business like that's in the footprint, you're allowed to be a vendor for free. If not, then it's usually like a $25 charge to set up a tent.
That's really
Very
phenomenal.
reasonable, yeah.
Yeah, I hate the word cheap, but that's very affordable. And especially if you have an event where there's 10,000 people in there or 40,000, that's
Yeah,
just-
we want to make sure that our businesses are able to reach the public, and whether or not they do well, then after that is kind of up to them and the product that they're selling.
Yeah.
So
You got to be, you can't get anything out unless you put something.
There you go.
That's just kind of the way it is, right?
That's right.
So is there anything else about good old Brooksville that I have not covered or I haven't not pulled out of you that I need to know?
I would just encourage people, if you haven't been, we also have a park right downtown, which a lot of people don't realize. If you go right next to the library, there's a really nice county park. There's a band shell in there. That's where we do our concerts. And it's just a beautiful little space right in the middle of downtown. So come, just start walking the area, get off onto the side streets. You'll see the historic homes, which eventually will also have QR codes. So, we're getting there.
Yeah, I have to say I have driven some of the side streets, and I'm just blown away with the architecture. So, and you can tell that these houses have been here for a very long time.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? I thank you for coming on. I
Of course,
appreciate it.
absolutely.
And Michael, again, once again, he knocked out of the park. He's got a scream great. This is the first for Hernando, the Greater Hernando County Chamber of Commerce,
Yeah.
to be on My Chamber TV. So we're excited
very cool.
that you guys are part of the family now. So
Absolutely.
stick around. We got the president of the chamber coming up next, and he will tell you about all the wonderful and great things that's going on in the chamber. We'll be right back after these messages. Wow, what a great show so far. Oh my gosh, we have great guests. And now we have the president, Mr. Morris Porton. How you doing, sir?
Thank you, John.
Thank you for coming. Thank you for joining the My Chamber TV family. We are so excited to have you guys up here because you have a lot to offer up here.
Well, thank you. We got a lot going on.
Let's talk about the Greater Hernando County Chamber of Commerce. That's a long one.
Okay, I'd love to. Well, we have about 800 members. We're the only chamber in Hernando County. We're the 6th largest in the region.
Whoa.
So we obviously, at one time before the pandemic, we had 8 employees, and now we have 4.5. But we're rebuilding and we're doing
Right.
events. We're getting new members. But I think the important thing is we're giving back to the community and helping our members hopefully, grow in their new businesses or existing businesses. The economy, as everybody knows, affects people differently.
Right.
Between gas prices and food prices. And everywhere you go, it says looking for employees. But on the other hand, with the gas prices and stuff, it's hard for some of these people to get to work.
Right. Now, this is a big county.
It
You
is.
you have a big footprint here, don't you?
We do. There's a little over 200,000 people here.
Okay.
We're a little unusual in Hernando County. We only have one city, the city of Brooksville.
Correct.
With about 8,000 people. The rest of it's unincorporated.
Oh, okay.
A lot of counties, you could take Pasco, they have 5 or 6 cities. Here we just have the mainly unincorporated Spring Hill. For instance, Spring Hill, there's 33,000 lots just in Spring Hill.
Wow. I did not know that.
Yeah, so it's growing. So, but no, we've got most of our membership is 1 to 5 employees.
Okay.
That's about 85% of our membership. So, we really try to help them because a lot of them, it's husbands, wife, could be their kids, a few employees. They don't have time to take off. So
Right.
we have a strong advocacy committee, which for a better name is governmental affairs. Everybody's got their fancy names. But it's advocacy committee. And we meet once a month. And a lot of members, if they have something that they need us to represent them or talk to them about, they fill out an application. We deal a lot with Hernando County government, which is they're very acceptable to us, meeting with them, and a lot of the issues that some of these members have, we can resolve it right away to get them help. So I think it's an asset for a new member that he can't take off work, go to county
Right.
commissions. And a lot of them, they don't do that every day, so they're a little nervous. So we're kind of their spokesperson.
That's really nice to know that if I'm a chamber member and I have an issue, I can come to the chamber and go, hey, I got an issue going on. Can you help me out here? Because a lot of chambers, they're like, and that's you have to go see the government about that side, and you guys actually step up and almost
We step
be an
up,
advocate.
and I'll be honest with you, about 90% of the time we pick up the phone, and the county's been really good. They have a young lady over there, the assistant county administrator. She helps us, and most of the time it's resolved because a lot of it's miscommunication.
Right.
And sometimes there is an issue, so that's where we try to do everything we can. Now, we don't get involved with planning and zoning and stuff like that.
Right.
This could be something to do with their permitting, their signs, or
Right.
code enforcement. It could be a number of things. And a lot
Right.
of them just, I think they're very thankful for that.
Right. So over 800 members.
Correct.
You call them partners or are they members?
They're members.
Okay, so
Right.
that is huge.
Well, it is, and like I said, we got a lot going on. You know, we have every Tuesday we have what they call business to business.
Okay.
And we go to a different restaurant every month. We support our members that are chamber members, the
Okay,
restaurants.
right.
Right now we're at the Legends of Silverthorne, right around the corner from here.
Ooh.
And we had a lunch yesterday. We had 52 people.
Wow. I came to the one that was at Carrabba's to talk to the group about My Chamber TV. And, you know, normally you go, well, you know, you're going to go to a luncheon, it's a chamber thing, and it's going to be like 20, 30 people. No, there was like a little over 50 people. I'm like, wow, that is amazing that many people come and get involved.
They do, and so many are chamber members. You don't have to be a chamber member. You just got to pay for your lunch.
Right.
Other than that, we don't charge them anything. And we get a lot of new members from there. And I'll be honest with you, before somebody joins, we encourage them. Look at our website. Be sure that the chamber is for you.
Right.
Because we want them to feel comfortable. We don't want to just take their money.
Right.
We want them to feel comfortable. And if they can't be involved, we show them ways we can help them without their physically being involved.
Okay. Well, that's phenomenal. So let's talk about what's going on other than your Tuesday. I know you guys have got stuff going on.
Oh my goodness. Well, we have a chamber breakfast every month, the fourth Wednesday of every month. We're meeting at Silverthorne. We get about 100 to 150, depending on the time of year.
My goodness.
You know, this month we have, it's kind of ironic, the sheriff is going to be our program and the county government is the sponsor. So they're paying for the sheriff to come and talk. It's kind of ironic. But we have different programs. Usually a couple months ago we had Wilton Simpson, our state representative.
Okay.
We get a legislative update, and the members like that. We have people that come and talk about transportation from Tallahassee.
Right.
And we have local stuff. We have about 7 or 8 events each year, and that's important to the chamber. We have what we call the Health and Wellness coming up on August 27th at the Alm Center. If I know a lot of people won't know where that is, but it's behind Steak and Shake on 19.
Okay.
That's kind of a landmark.
I know where that's at.
But it's 10 to 2. We have vendors come, food trucks. It's all free. It's a family affair. Meet the doctors, and we have that. We have a business expo coming up in November at Wekiwachi Springs. We're back to that. So that'll be a big event. It's chamber members only, so they can take their businesses and set up booths. Well, the food is free.
Okay.
Doesn't
Now,
cost to come in.
is that held in the park or
In
is
the
it
park.
held in the parking lot?
No, we do it at 5 o'clock when the park closes. We've contracted with them, so you know we can get quite a few people. We just finished what we do every 2 years. It's called Politics in the Park.
Oh.
And every 2 years you have your candidates are running for certain offices. And we're nonpartisan, so we invite all the candidates. They have 3 minutes to talk. And out of the 30 candidates running this time, we had 26 that came.
Wow.
And spoke. And it gives and we film it, and it's telecast on our website. So people can sit home and say, I want to listen to this gentleman or this lady for 3 minutes and make their own decisions. We don't endorse candidates. We can't do that. But we're an educational platform where we can get the information to them.
Right.
We have what we call Hernando Untapped is a big event. We've had it in October and November before. We're going to different months. And we invite all the breweries. And they come, we have a band, and we've done it at the airport for the last 6 or 8 years. So all those type of things we do. We have a big gala coming up for chamber members only in December at Glen Lakes, and it's 175 tickets. We've sold about 60% of the tickets already.
Wow.
We got our sponsor. So you can see there's something always going on with the chamber. If you're a business, you can choose a breakfast. You can choose a lunch. We have quarterly mixers where they can come out after work. And, you know, so there's an opportunity for a member, depending on their responsibilities at work, could be morning, lunch, or evening. So we try to work around it and help them.
I got to say, your building, your office building, this is absolutely fabulous. We're sitting in the back room, right? And this is your
Training room.
It is huge. You could probably, sit 70, 80 people in here maybe?
Yes, yeah, easily. And we have a lot of training here, and we rent the room out. It's very reasonable. I think it's $35 an hour for a non-member and $25 for a member. But we have some of the companies in the park, they do their continuing education training here. They bring people in from all over the state and train here once a year.
You are in the airport.
Industrial park, yes.
Industrial park over here. Yeah, it's like, I'm like, oh, we get to listen to the planes come in and out and stuff like that.
Yeah, they get loud sometimes. And we do that. And then we have a lot of chamber functions we offer here for most of the nonprofits. We don't charge. We let them use the room as long as we can get it on the calendar and it's within our business hours. But I think it helps the community. We have homeowners groups that actually meet here because they don't have a place to meet, and they have their board meetings here.
Okay. Well,
So-
see the beautiful location. Yeah, and you go back to, let's go back to you know the members. You can't get anything out of the chamber unless you put something into the chamber, right?
That's correct. And we actually have what we call onboarding. When somebody signs up, a lot of our members sign up right online. They can go to our website, put all the information in, either we'll invoices or they can pay it through their credit card or whatever. But once they do that, then we touch base with them. We normally have them come in here, and Michael is our membership chairman. He sits down with them and he goes over everything, how we can help them, how the chamber can help them, and all the things that, so they feel comfortable. And then we follow up during the year as best we can. So we do that. Sometimes we go to their business because it's hard for them to get away, but
Right.
we call it onboarding. We want to be sure when somebody joins that they know what they're
Getting
they
themselves
join,
into.
but we don't want to just take their money. We
Right,
want to give them an opportunity to. And we can't, I tell people, we can't make your business. We can help you.
Right.
We can't make customers come in, but we can offer you the opportunity to promote your business
Right.
with your membership.
And that's what it's all about. You go, you show up, you get involved with the chamber, and then people see you getting involved with the chamber, and the next thing you know, people are going, well, I saw you at a mixer, or I saw you at a luncheon, or I saw you at a breakfast, or I saw you at an event.
Yes.
And you know what? And you're very active. So let's do some one-on-one work and see how we can all work together.
Oh, it's all networking. That's what it's about. And you know, that's a lot. And you know, I remember a lot of members. I think back when I was younger. A lot of people are uncomfortable talking in front of people, crowds, and we respect that. We don't ever force that on somebody. Even in our breakfasts, we announce the new members, but we don't ask them to come up and talk.
Right.
If they're there, they'll stand up. We'll introduce them because some of them, it got to the point they were scared to even come to the breakfast, even though we paid for it.
Right.
But we really encourage them and we try to sit them at a table with someone else.
Someone new.
We don't
yes.
sit all the new members together. We try to
Right.
spread them out because we want to get them to the point they're comfortable. And it happens over time. We never push it. You know, most of the people don't like to do what I'm doing.
Yeah. Morris, thank you so much for being on. Hey, it's been a great show today. Michael knocked it out of the park. Great guest. Great location. We'll see everybody next week on My Chamber TV.